We're going to take this brand spanking new piece of 18 gauge and turn that into a floor in there. Shutting in the electrical for it, so put this little coil like this. All right, we got our forward drive shaft loop made up. Again, 3/16 pattern, and actually take 3/16 and force it. It's welded inside, panel inside, panel outside. The welds are inside, and then we don't butt these. We do a kind of an offset. That way we have a full bead weld. And then of course everything's ground cleaned off. The 2x3 pieces represent where it's going to be sitting on the frame inside. One of the things I would like to do is be able to strengthen it up some. And I've got to give a huge shout out to Travis at RAC Garage. That's RAC Garage. You guys check him out. You want to raise your game? This man's a real talent. Young buck is really got some skills. I was watching one of his videos, and my grandfather used to say, "You stop learning, you stop living." We're going to take one out of his how-tos. We got a couple pieces of angle right here. Good watchdog. Cut to shape. And we're going to make a forced gusset pattern, and it's going to be pressed and treated in such a way that when we're finished with it, and as y'all see, pretty easy to do once you make the tooling for it, but it'll really add some strength. But at the same time, by the time we pull our floor and our tunnel in here and our carpet padding and cover, interior, everything, that little small gusseted area that's going to be so strong and retain this to help keep the frame tied together and really support what we're doing with this protector for whoever's in the car. And, you know, in case of a drive shaft mishap, we've got a lot of power in this car, so we want to do everything we can to keep the car really safe. Anyway, we're gonna go through some of this. Y'all check out Travis at RAC Garage. A lot of tooling tips, a lot of neat ideas, a lot of things he makes. Really skilled young man. But we're going to take one out of his book, and we're going to show you our version of it and how we do it here at the shop. And we're going to make some gussets for this thing, strengthen it up. All right, if you watch a video, you'll notice he ran into a pinch. And one thing I love about his videos is he's real honest, real raw, shows you mistakes, how to fix them, a little correction. How this truly always happens is a lot of it's just trial and error. So since we can take advantage of his video showing us a few things that he made changes on, notice I drilled in this case, the 3/8 hole gives us that rounded bottom. We're going to use a piece of 3/8 rod. We'll show you on the other piece. It's just a male-female. We're just making a shape. And one of the things I like to do, I like to take advantage of just using what we have available. This is just 2-inch heavy angle stock. We're going to make a reverse tool that'll do this. Basically what he had in the video. Pretty cool. I think we'll probably strengthen it up a little bit. I don't want anything to splay because we're going to be running a little bit heavier material, and we've got a little bit of a different way of doing that. But we'll get this notched out, and then we'll show you how to map in the other piece. Got our notch out done. What we did is we just softened everything up, even a little bit on the other side. It'll push in, and just that little softer, everything rounded off slightly. It doesn't make so many kink lines in the material when we squeeze this in. It's basically just a male-female die. This piece we started out with a piece of 3/8 rod matching the round. We also welded in a couple pieces of material just for triangle, a little bit of grinding, a little bit of filing, and basically you've matched out a die. When it goes together in the press and your materials in between, it simply closes it up, and we're going for some shape. We already know with measurement, as you can see, we've come in here and our gap pre-measured drawn is about 1/8 of an inch material, and so we can run a really nice 10 gauge gusset, so it'll be seriously strong. And that little, you've seen these kind of forms and gussets before, it just makes it really strong. Of course, everything's about that strong triangles, we all know what it does. Anyway, we're going to put a base plate across this to keep it from splaying out when it gets crushed. We're going to make a little something on top so it crushes even. Might even come up with a little guide, but we're going to show you all the results of this and see how it works out for you. All right, this is our little tool for our press. We've got our 2 mated pieces. We'll stick material in here, hopefully, you know, a couple inches by a couple inches. Anyway, the idea is real simple. This is stable, it's flat. These act like a guide. This give us a little even pressure point to push with the press, and it'll simply go down, squeeze the poo-poo out of our material, and we should have a nice little 90-degree triangulated super strong gusset. Let's see what it looks like. We use 16 gauge. We wanted it thin and kind of close to our work. But at the same time, I want to shape up nice. I went ahead and clean this off a little bit just so you guys can kind of see the shape. And it's just like Travis says, it's ridiculously strong. So really come in handy. Appreciate it, Travis. For our version, you notice we use the heat, a little bit thicker gauge. We can even do 3/16 with this. We run that heat. If you watch, I quenched it in oil just at the finish. It doesn't turn the piece brittle. If anything, it forges it to be a little bit tougher, a little bit stronger. We'll be able to weld this in, and I really like the fact that you can get a really nice 90-degree. This will weld into our frame, weld into our drive shaft loop. We get the protection. We get this ridiculous amount of strength. By the time we pad this and carpet this and come in with the wraparound carpet at the same time, this little bump disappears, but this little triangulated bump does everything. It is incredible. So we're gonna make a bunch more and get them put in. Floors. This is the package tray, what was kind of left of it. Cut out all the old bad and high areas of the metal. Wanted to get this thing a lower profile in the back, so made this panel, fit it in, and with these little heat dimples where the runner dimples were, we just kind of finished them out where, you know, when it's upholstery it'd be pretty simple to do. The side panels, these were cut off earlier, well, way back when we were doing the inner quarters, but these little sections here obviously will go in, something like that. And we'll actually install this as like one piece, and that'll give us our back wall for our rear seats down to our tunnel. We just wanted to include this piece in, even though we're working the floor panels in the car and toward the firewall area. Just wanted to show y'all a little bit of a way you can go about this. And a couple more things we're going to look at real quick. This stuff here is heat shield. You can get it anywhere. It's pretty cool stuff. You can buy it by the roll. It's got this thermal backing on it. It's used for wrapping like headers, exhaust, especially right at the collector, usually under the toe board area, keeping the heat off your feet. So I like to go a little bit further. We've been doing this for a long time now, and one of the little things, if you actually do watch this floor video, they are done. Most people don't watch them, but Levi and I promised ourselves that we would always show the entire build on all these projects, no matter how boring they are. And hopefully somebody can pick out one or two little things that they haven't been doing to theirs, or could be helpful or beneficial to their project. So heat shield, it's a kind of a 2-for-1 deal. But what's neat about it is we'll run that in here, and it gives you a thermal protection, incredible temperature thermal protection for that big block. The headers, you can see here, exhaust, everything. So we're heat shielding our entire firewall and our toe board. And what's really cool is the way we do this is I double panel everything. I'll double panel the entire toe board, inside, outside. Heat shields in the middle like a sandwich, same way with the firewall. You can already see the piece that's going to be seen when you open the hood as far as the back of the motor is concerned on the firewall. But there'll be another piece that we'll put in here that we'll show you a little bit later on. Right now we'll get this shield in here and show you how this all lays out, and finish up these last pieces of metal, install the tunnel, and show you how this floor comes out. Outside perimeter, like a picture frame. Make reference marks for any little bends you might have to make. Keep it simple. A reference bend from earlier, some high load matched in, a little high road. This is where our feet would be. It's dropped down for a position on our seat mounts. We'll work on the firewall and the rest of the tunnel next. All right, here's the floor. The heavy part of the middle. Our little jump up for our toes or our feet. Surround for the tunnel. Actual kick up or toe boards. Now remember earlier we talked about the heat wrap. This also becomes a great insulator. All right, big finish here as far as this part of the video goes. You see how the floors work out. On this bead roll stuff that we do, we've just kind of gone in between the frames. We've kept it real simple. And then we'll obviously, like everybody else, we'll come in here with, you know, Dynamat, the bottom all the way around. We'll wrap every bit of this in Dynamat or roadkill or some sort of sticky insulation. And it's gonna put a wrap on this video to get you this far. And anyway, I appreciate all y'all watching. We don't have a whole lot of subscribers. We don't even get a lot of views. And I know one thing, floor videos get very few views. You know, hey, if we get that magic 60 like we did on the last video, maybe this time one of y'all could tell somebody else and we can get 61 or 62. That like and subscribe, it really helps out. And Levi and I promised each other we were going to show every part of every build that we do, even the boring stuff like floors. It might help one person out with one tip. So pass it on, and we appreciate you. And remember, help somebody out today. It just makes things a little better. Thank you.